products here worth $650 million US. What word do you have for the business people that are here today, both from the small business sector and the medium sector?
Let me first speak to the issue raised by Jua Kali. You talked about political goodwill. So, me sitting here, I am a bundle of political goodwill. So, at least one issue is out of the way. The second issue is the common user facility, which you have talked about. And you are so right. When we are doing the housing, for example, we said we are going to connect our Jua Kali sector to our Tibet institutions, because in Tibet we have a lot of equipment. We spend almost 25-30 billion shillings to equip our Tibets. And we are now saying there must be a working formula between the Jua Kali and our Tibets, so that the Jua Kali can leverage on the huge resources and equipment that we have in our Jua Kali to professionalize their work. But if you look at our manifesto, we have said that we are going to work with the Jua Kali, link them up to our Tibet institutions, and create a common user facility where we have the most modern of equipment to be shared by different people in the Jua Kali sector, so that we can elevate the quality and the specifications of the products that they produce. So you are spot on, and I want to confirm to you that is a plan we intend to implement. And it's going to cover the textile sector, the leather sector, the wood sector, the metal sector. All those sectors will be covered in our common user facility that we are going to equip, either in every county to begin with, then we will move to the sub-county, and then we will move to the Jua Kali sheds, which can be shared by different Jua Kali players, because it's expensive for one person to buy. But once we put a common user facility under the management of the Jua Kali, they can share in the common user facility for all. Only unlocked matters to do with travel. We also unlocked and eliminated barriers. And yesterday in the evening we got a brief from the ministers concerned, but by December this year, the ban will be lifted so that our products can access the South African market. We cannot sell our tea to South Africa. We have a challenge selling our pineapples. We have a challenge selling our avocados, as was mentioned by this young man. The issue was that we are operating on different phytosanitary requirements. We have said we are going to harmonize our phytosanitary regulations so that by January we can be able to access the South African market as they access our market. That way we can begin to bring down the difference in the trade levels between our two countries. As was said, they are selling to our country $650 million US. We are selling only $40 million to the South African market. And yet, the primary or the premium products that we'll be selling to South Africa have barriers. One of them is tea, and I persuaded the President of South Africa that by January, February next year, we should be able to export our tea to South Africa. And I do that for all the other countries, including our neighbors, and I want to persuade all of us here, whether you are in fintech, whether you are in agro-processing, whether you are in the Juakali sector, we must focus our market beyond Kenya. And that is why we should leverage on the East African community, and more importantly, we should leverage on the infrastructure given to us by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is our market for our tea, for our coffee, for our milk, for our fintech, for all the products that we produce. We must raise our horizon to the 1.2 billion people in the African continent. And we must target the 2.7 trillion GDP and make some of it Kenyan GDP. And I am ready, I am willing, and the government of Kenya is going to work with each and every one of you in your sectors so that we can scale up. I like the words of Magdalene. She said, her enterprise is scalable and her enterprise can be expanded. You know, I really like that. And that should be the mindset that we have as Kenyans.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much, Your Excellency. I would want to go straight to Esther. And you've listened to His Excellency, and he's demonstrated on how his government will facilitate the private sector. In your view, Esther, what